This is the Aftermarket Radio Network.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Auto Repair Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Walker, and today I'm going to be talking about, in 2024, you cannot create original content. But first, thank you to our friends at RepairPal for providing this episode. As shop owners, we were part of RepairPal's certified network. You can learn more at repairpal.com/shops. So yeah, in 2024, you cannot create original content. What are you talking about, Brian? What are you talking about? Okay, maybe the title is a little bit too literal. I'm certain that you can create original content, but it is very difficult to create content that has not already been created by someone else. And this is a hang up for a lot of people when it comes to creating written content on their website, creating social media content, creating videos, whatever it might be. They think to themselves, well, this already exists, so I can't do it. And I am giving you permission in this episode to create your own version of content that already exists. You see, with so many people who are out there creating content, yes, whatever you're talking about creating, it's already going to exist. I mean, when we get into auto repair topics, you can go look for a specific issue on an exact year and model of car with a particular engine or transmission or anything. Go on YouTube and do a search, and you can probably find a video that already exists about that. Go to Google and do a search. You can probably find a couple of pages full of articles that already exist about that problem on that vehicle. The thing is, what you can do that other content creators cannot do is show off your personality if it's a video. You can get people to know, like, and trust you, your team, and your overall brand, no matter what type of content you're creating. And the thing is sure, you could share somebody else's thought leadership, but what does that do to get people to know, like, and trust you and your team and your brand? It does nothing. It gets them to know, like, and trust this other content creator where you shared their stuff. And then it allows you to include your opinions, your thought leadership. And yes, I know that goes directly to the whole know, like, and trust thing, but still, it is something that you can do that you're unable to accomplish if you look at it and say, oh, somebody else already created that content, or if you share someone else's thought leadership. Now, people, they think that they can't create something because it already exists, but what are the chances that the people who are in your audience, that they have already seen the content that someone else has created? It's little to none. If someone was specifically searching for the answer to a question, then that person is probably not going to be your client anyway, because the chances that they are geographically close enough to you that they're going to become your client, well, it's very small. And then you would think, well, if someone who's searching isn't going to, be close enough to become my client, then why am I doing this? And there's so much value to that content that you're creating, even when people who are searching may not be good fit clients for you, because you already have an audience that you are taking that content out to. You're not waiting on everybody to search for you or for your content, and that's the only way that they see it. You are bringing it to them, and you're bringing it to them through your social media and through your email and through, any other channels that you may be sharing on. And when you do that, again, know, like, trust. People, they learn who you are. They learn the way that you think. They get a better idea of, do I know this person? Do I like this person? Do I trust this person? Through that content that you create. And these are people that, again, they're already in your audience. Maybe they're a client. I love talking about sponsors of the podcast who have already worked with and who I've used before. So today, I'm super excited to talk to you about RepairPal, which, if you didn't know,
will introduce your shop to new customers through RepairPal.com, the largest site for auto repair, and through the recommendation of their partners like USAA, CarMax, and Consumer Reports. Our shop was in RepairPal's certified network, and it was great for getting new customers who were looking for more than just oil changes. The average RepairPal customer spends over $600 on their first visit. I loved it, especially because we all know that consumers still mistrust repair shops. But the millions of customers that visit RepairPal.com monthly, they trust RepairPal certified shops for their high quality and great service. And there's no fear about being overcharged, so we were able to just focus on the repair. I highly recommend you check them out. It's the way to grow your business. Go to RepairPal.com/shops, get 1 month of service free, and save $150 off certification.
Let me tell you something. Just because somebody was a client of yours last time they needed service on their vehicle does not mean that they will still be a client of yours the next time that they need service on your vehicle. It's not enough to do a great job of fixing the car. It's not enough to create a raving fan or to provide that raving fan customer service, although that is a big part of it. You've got to do that. But that in itself, cars they're dependable these days. Very rarely are people bringing in their vehicle to you for an emergency situation. Most of the time, they're bringing it in for something that it could wait. Maybe it's just maintenance. And it might be a year between services. When you see somebody, it's for sure going to be 6 months in most cases. And in that time, if another shop opened up that's a little bit closer to them, or if a friend or a family member went to a different shop and they were telling them about the great experience that they had there, do you think that they're going to remember you? Sure, in the back of their head, they're going to remember who you are. But do you think that they're going to remember that amazing raving fan experience that they had a year ago? Or are they going to remember that friend or family member who just 2 weeks ago was telling them about the great experience that they had at the shop that they went to? Or do you think that they're going to prioritize the raving fan experience that they got at your shop over the 20-minute drive to your shop versus the 5-minute drive to the new shop that opened up closer to their home? So you have to remind them who you are. You have to remind them how great you are at what you do, and you have to remind them that you are a person that they like. And this is done through that content that you create on a regular basis, regardless whether or not somebody has already created a piece that's very much just like it, because it doesn't matter. So I'm giving you permission, again, to create that your own version of content that already exists. But the other thing that I'm giving you permission to do is to create content based on things that are very basic to you. Because even though it's very basic to you, it's not very basic to the person who is watching it. You could have someone who they're incredibly smart. They are an engineer, for example, but they can't turn a wrench to save their life. They know the theory behind it, but can they actually do the work? Because there's a big difference in knowing the theory and being able to hold onto a wrench and maneuver your hands into some of the places that we have to get them in these cars. Anytime that you have a new technician that comes right out of tech school, you get to experience this because their knowledge, they're overflowing with knowledge of how a vehicle works. But you're hearing their wrenches hit the floor in your shop all day long because they haven't learned how to hold on to it yet. They don't know how to keep from stripping a bolt. They don't know how to get that connector off without breaking the tab that holds it together. There's so much there that people, in theory, they might understand, but they don't have the ability to do it themselves. And then when you show them your knowledge, they're like, oh, I'm just going to let that person do it. And then there's people that maybe they can do it, but they just don't want to do it anymore. That's me. I'm a master technician. I'm only going to work on something if I want to work on it. It's going to be a project of mine that I'm working on. If my vehicle needs maintenance or repair, I'm probably bringing that to the guy who was my mentor when I started working on cars, because he's still to this day the best tech that I've ever known. And he's right down the street from where I live. And my time is better spent doing the things that I'm great at. But I bring it to him because I know him, I like him, and I trust him. And I got to know him, like him, and trust him because he taught me almost everything that I knew about being a technician. Your clients don't have the benefit of being able to do that. So through that content that you create, even the basic stuff, you're sharing that with them. They're getting a peek into who you are, what you believe, and how darn good you are at what you are. And it shouldn't be just you. It should be your team that is getting the advantage of this content that's being shared also. So anytime that they get the opportunity to be part of that, make them part of that. But yeah, in 2024, you're going to be hard pressed to create anything that is original. But your thought leadership about that particular topic can certainly be original because there's only one you in this world. So go out there and create content, whether it exists already or not, and share it as if yours is the only piece of content that's ever been created about that particular topic, and just own it. That's my rant for the day. I hope that you got something good out of this. Hey, look, we are just one of a handful of podcasts on the Aftermarket Radio Network. You can find the others at aftermarketradionetwork.com. Go check out Craig O'Neill's new podcast. He is doing some great stuff over there. I want to thank our sponsor, Repair Pal, again for providing this episode. Without them, we would not be able to do this. And then I want to thank you for listening. I hope that you'll come back again next week. And until then, go fill those bays.
You've been listening to the Auto Repair Marketing Podcast with Kim and Brian Walker. Follow the podcast on your favorite listening app. Find their emails in the show notes and visit them at shopmarketingpros.com. Let Kim and Brian know what you want discussed because they're all about advancing the aftermarket.